talking about. It's one of the more famous scenes in the movie. By the way, the practical effects are amazing. Where the dead body is walking up to him, chat, and grabs Herbert West's head and just slams in the fucking table, chat. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I also wanted to let you know that not only do I create content here on Class in the Glass, but I also stream content in my Twitch channel, Mr. Revan7. I play single-player games, multiplayer games, and I also do movie reviews and cartoon reviews as well. I also want to encourage you to check out my Patreon, Class in the Glass, where I offer audio commentaries, full reactions for movies, and also the ability to submit questions for my video casts and podcasts. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and enjoy the video.
You'll never get credit for my discovery. Who's going to believe a talking head? Get a job in a sideshow.
It will scare you to pieces.
We must go ahead and start the review. Chat, we've entered into the film, and we are in Deutschland. We are in the fatherland of Germany. And we're at Zurich University, chat, the medical school in Zurich, and people are fucking screaming. It's like, what the hell is going on, chat? And we see this very Rubenesque German woman, and she's just pacing back and forth in the hallway. Apparently, she's waiting for the popo, chat, the police. The West, by the way, this is West Germany, because, you know, Germany was split in two after the events of World War II. Chat, like, okay, Germany, you fucked up twice already, all right? World War I, World War II, no more. And they were split, chat. They were split. The French, the British, and the United States, we got control of West Germany, and then East Germany went to the goddamn Soviets, chat. Hellhole over there. But we're in good old West Germany, chat, in the city of Zurich, and this woman, she's waiting for the police because there is some crazy fucking shit going on in Dr. Hans Gruber. Yes, chat, his name is Hans Gruber, and this film came out before Die Hard, chat. So we learn that Alan Rickman was a zombie the whole time. It's fucking nuts. It's crazy. But we're waiting because in the office of Hans Gruber, chat, she can't get in, and she can only hear Alan Rickman's screams of absolute terror and pain. What the hell is going on? Eventually, chat, the Zurich police get there, and they you know, the very Rubenesque German woman takes them to his office, but they can't get in. They're calling like, Hans Gruber, let us inside. He's like, where are my detonators? We don't have your detonators, Hans Gruber. We don't have them. And so eventually, they just fucking, they bust into that thing, chat, break the goddamn glass, reach on over. And they kick open the goddamn door. And who do they see, chat? They see fucking Herbert West, this nut. And he is over the body of Hans Gruber, who was just screaming. He's just screaming like, oh my God. They're like, get away from him, get away from him. And Herbert West, what are you doing to him? And Herbert West is like, what? I'm not doing anything to him. I'm saving this man. And eventually he gets up, and the police, they grab him. And then Hans Gruber just stands up, chat, and his entire face is purple and blue, huge bulging veins, and all he's doing is just screaming, chat. His eyes are shut, but it looks like there's pressure building underneath his skull. He's getting all these boils and pustules. And eventually, chat, his eyeballs, they just like little pimples, chat, they pop, and they cover the Rubenesque German woman's bosoms, chat, over the bosoms. And her face, she's like, and it's getting in her mouth and her eyes and shit. And then Hans Gruber, he falls back down, chat, where he is dead. He is dead. And Herbert West, he goes over there, he checks his goddamn pulse. He's like, yep, he's fucking dead. And they're like, why would you do this, Dr. West? He's like, why would you kill him? And he's like, kill him. I gave this man life. And then, chat, we cut to credits. Well, wonderful opening credits, chat. The music in this film is really cool. It's very magical. Almost has like a whimsical nature to it, and I really dig it. So already, a lot of shit has fucking happened, chat. Hans Gruber, apparently a zombie. You know, he looks like he died, but he came back again in Die Hard, chat. Took over Nakatomi Plaza, fought Bruce Willis, chat. So that was his second life. He became an East German terrorist. He technically wasn't a terrorist, chat. He was a thief, posing as an East German terrorist. But there you go. Good little cameo from Alan Rickman, chat. It was nice. But we have cut, chat. We have cut to Miskatonic University in Arkham, Massachusetts, chat. Which, funny enough, Arkham, Massachusetts, most recently featured in Lovecraft Country. Because that's the setting of a lot of H.P. Lovecraft's original works in Arkham, Massachusetts. It's also the location in the original Re-Animator. It's like, oh, that's kind of full. Like H.P. Lovecraft's in the style. And, you know, he was a racist son of a bitch, Jack. And I think it's very hilarious and very appropriate that a lot of his adaptations of his work, or works that have been inspired by his work, are now featuring people he's hated. I think that's fucking great. That's as good comeuppance, you dead bastard. So, we're in Miskatonic University, chat. We're in the hospital wing right there, and we're introduced to Dan Kane, chat. He's a medical student, and he's trying to save a very Rubenesque woman, chat. I mean, there's a lot of nudity in this movie, chat. There's a lot of bosom. There's a lot of peen everywhere. There's a lot of genitals. That they were not trying to hide anything, at all. It's like, no, it's all out there. People are walking around naked, especially the zombies, chat, just swinging in the fucking breeze. They don't give a shit about covering themselves up. They're zombies. They don't give a shit, whatever they are. The reanimated dead, if you will, chat. We'll call them zombies for the sake of convenience. But he's trying to bring this woman to life, and all the doctors are like, calling it, damn, we got to call. He's like, no, I still got her. And they get the things, the shocker, I don't know what these things are called. The shockers, we're going to call them the shockers. And she's shocking the bosoms again and again, and it does not work, Chad. They get a little crispy, crisp. But they have to call it. And the doctor's like, Dan, listen, Dan Kane, you're a great guy, you're a great medical student, but you have to let things go, okay? You get too obsessive. We called it minutes ago, and you still want at it. Like, there's people die. It happens. And he's like, I guess you're right. And she goes, all right, bag him and tag him, chat. And what bag him and tag him means, you got to put him in a body bag, and you tag him on the little toe, and you take him down the morgue. So that's Dan Kane's job, because he kept still going at it, wasting everyone's fucking time when it was obvious that she wasn't coming back, chat. She's dead. So he goes to the elevator, chat. He takes it down, and we meet the security guard. I don't know his name. I'm going to say his name is Barney. He looks like a Barney to me. He goes, how you doing, Barney? He's like, I get the best job in the world. Actually, the Barney in the film, chat, who plays the security guard working the morgue, literally does nothing in the movie. He is so fucking useless. All he does is just stand there and just randomly leaves whenever he wants to. And apparently he just goes and jerks off in the bathroom, chat, because he always has like a hustler or a playboy or something on his desk. He's like, all right, break time. So he's a chronic masturbator, chat. And everyone manages to sneak by him. Even when you get like a reanimated corpse, just manages to sneak by him. It's like, not my problem. You do what you want to do. It's nuts. But good old Dan Kane, he goes in there, Chad, and he sees Dr. Hill. Coral Hill is working there, Chad. He's doing some exploratory surgery on a corpse with one of his fellow students, and Dan Kane goes, hi, Dan, and Carl's like, how you doing? And he takes him. He takes the Rubenesque woman to the morgue section. She opens it up. There's a whole bunch of fucking dead bodies. They're all in different states, Jay. You got burn victims. You got people that have been smushed by trucks. You got people that have been sucked into gears and grinders. It's a goddamn slaughterhouse in there. And we see that Dan Kane, he's a little nervous around dead bodies, Chet. He doesn't like them. They unease him, which is interesting because he's in the medical field where he deals with death all the goddamn time. So that's maybe why he's so obsessive, Chet, where he doesn't want people to die. So it's like, okay, I get it. And so he puts the fucking dead Rubenesque woman in there, and he's sweating. He comes out, he's like, he's just profusely sweating and everything. So clearly, he's very nervous. And then who fucking walks in the goddamn morgue, chat? Dean Halsey. Dean Halsey walks in, and who's right by his side, chat? Herbert West. How the fuck did Herbert West manage to get into Miskatonic University, chat, after that whole thing that happened in Germany, in West Germany? People were blaming him for the death of Hans Gruber, and then all of the goddamn sudden, he's here, and we'll find out why he's here, check. He's a lying son of a bitch. He lies like he fucking drinks water. It comes naturally to him, Chad. It's like a fucking reflex. He just does. He just can't help himself. And he's a bastard, but he's a funny bastard. And he walks over, and Dean Halsey, he's like, Dan Kane, one of my best students. Come over here. I want you to meet good old Herbert West. And Herbert West, Dean Halsey introduces him. He's like, he's a great student. He was doing some stuff in Germany with Dr. Hans Gruber. Sadly passed away recently. Heard about that, Dan? He's like, oh, yeah, I was really sad to hear that. He's like, good to see you, Herbert. Good to meet you. And, what are you studying? And Herbert's like, I don't touch humans. I don't shake hands with living people. He's like, I want to fucking touch you. And he's just walking around. He's like, I was studying death. What else is there to study? It's the unknown. And he's like, okay. Okay. You're at an 11. We're all like a 5 right now. You want to bring it down to maybe an 8? He's like, no. And he goes over, chat, because he sees what Carl's doing. Doing a little exploratory surgery using a laser, kind of like a laser beam, chat, going and performing a undead lobotomy. It's fucking weird. But Dean Halsey, he comes over, he calls over Carl Hill, and he goes, Herbert West, I want to meet the Grant Master himself. This guy brings in the money, honey, Carl Hill. And Herbert West, he actually puts out his hand. He's like, oh, yes, Dr. Hill, I'm familiar with your work. Yes, I realized that a lot of it seemed very similar. Very similar to Hans Gruber. Matter of fact, it was almost as if you copied his entire work for yourself. Basically putting out there, I know you fucking plagiarized, you son of a bitch. And Carl Hill's just like, you fucking prick. You embarrassing me in front of all these people, but it's that goddamn true, chat. Goddamn Carl Hill. He is a cheating son of a bitch. And he plagiarized. And Herbert West knows, because he worked with Hans Gruber before he was dead, before he became an unliving zombie monster. But he knew that. And he goes, yeah, so I've heard about you, Mr. West, so you'll be joining us? Like, yeah, I'll be in your class. I'll be in your class on Monday. He goes, great! Can't wait for that. That's going to be so much fun. I'm sure there won't be any awkward moments then. And Halsey, he wants to kind of break the tension. He's like, well, I'll leave you two at it. Come with me, Herbert. Well, we got some stuff to do. We got to take care of all your paperwork and things. And so they go ahead and leave. And then, chat, we cut to good old Dan. He's got out of the morgue. He's out of his sweaty clothes, shit. He's feeling good. Took a nice hot shower. He's feeling a little bit better, chat, after trying to save that poor Rubenesque woman's life. And he's doing the thing he needs, chat. He needs some fucking money, okay? He's got a loan for the university, but medical school is fucking expensive. He knows that if he's not going to get a goddamn good job, he's going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for the rest of his life. He's not going to be able to pay this off till he's in his goddamn 50s, chat. So he needs a good job. I need some money now. And he's putting up just a little pamphlet, advertising that he has a free room available at his house near the university. And then who comes up right next to him, chat? Megan Halsey, the daughter of the dean. And he's like, how you doing? And they get a little smooch. They have a little smooch. Like, oh, they're an item. Does fucking the dean know that Dan is banging his daughter? Yeah, I don't know. You know, that's not said. But he says, I'm going to see you later tonight. We're going to pick you up from your house. She goes, hell yeah, we're going to study so hard. It's going to be great. And you're like, whoa, you're going to study really hard. I wonder what's going to get hard, chat. We'll find out. But then we cut to the home. We cut to the home of good old Dean Halsey, and he's hosting Carl, because he's happy. Carl, he is the grant master, as we know, chat, and he just scored another fucking grant based on his amazing research, which he definitely did not plagiarize from other people, obviously, chat, because he'd be in a lot of trouble if he did. And he's there, he's fucking pouring wine for himself, for good old Carl, and of course his daughter. And during this whole scene, chat, Carl, who looks to be a man of, I don't know, in his late 50s, chat, maybe even early 60s. He is just staring directly at Dean Halsey's daughter, Megan, chat, just right at her bosom, right at her breast. He just can't help himself. He's like, oh, he's a pervert, too. He's a goddamn perv. And every time Dean Halsey's talking, he's like, yeah, yes. Just looking up and down his daughter. And eventually, because Dean Halsey, he's like, I'm always about breaking the ice. He's like, hey, let's raise my glass to Carl and the success of Miskatonic University on another ground. They all raise their glass. And Dean Halsey, he's like, I have one toast I want to make to your lovely daughter. She captivates the eye with her intelligence, beauty, and poise. Just not breaking eye contact. And Dean Halsey's a fucking moron, goes, here. And Megan's like, is this creepy fuck coming on to me? But thankfully, chat, she doesn't find that answer out. Because good old Dan, he comes in, he knocks on the door. She's like, I'll be right back. He comes in, introduces her father, and he's like, oh, no, good to see you, Dean Halsey. It was great meeting you. When you're talking that, bring that weird, creepy fucking guy down to the morgue, Herbert West. Don't want to see him again. Oh, I don't want to get caught in a room with him, right? But, hey, we're going to go to my place and study. And Carl, he knows, like, these two kids are fucking, how dare they? Megan is mine. He's like, what is wrong with studying here? You have all the material and source of information that you young people crave so much. And Dan's like, old man, if you fuck this up for me. He's like, oh, we always study at my place. And it's like, even the dean knows, is he fucking my daughter? And he's like, they all know it's true. And eventually, they're like, oh, and Dean Halsey's like, well, you enjoy yourself to you two. You go ahead and study for all your tests. It's like, oh, we're going to do some hard studying. Thank you, Darkslayer, with the 5 X. How dare they? Exactly. Thank you, Darkslayer, with the 5 biddies. I knew it, hoe bags. Oh my God. Very true, chap. And so, we're going to do some hard studying. And then, man, they're doing something hard, chap, because we cut and they're having hot, sweaty college sex, chat, with no protection whatsoever. And they're fucking going at it. And you see a lot. You see everything, Chad. You see the peen. You see the bosoms. You see the vagine. All of it's out there. It's like the movie does not play around. I'm shocked that this got a R rating, Chad. You figure in 1985, be like, oh, this is terrible. You can't put this in the theaters. This is X-rated content. This is pornography. But it got an R rating somehow. STDs, here we come. Oh, don't worry, they're coming. They're going to be coming soon enough. As soon as you see some of these fucking dead people, no doubt about it. Some STDs took their lives, Chad. Fucking get protection. And so they're going at it. And, they didn't do any study. I don't know if they even did study because they stopped having sex. They've gone on it for several times, chat. And she's like, I got to get home. I'm tired and I got to study. He goes, we're just doing some study. We're practicing biology. So it's like, we weren't practicing anything. Yes, we were. It's the most natural thing. And they're just all fucking goofing off and having a good time. She's like, stop it, Dan, stop it. And he's like, ooh, just messing with her. I want your body, Megan. Give it to me. It's like, stop it. And she goes to the front door. And she opens it, and who's at the front door, Chad? Just staring at them. Herbert West, Dr. Herbert West. She goes, oh! And Herbert West is like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt your biological experimentation. Just like he was listening. He was probably fucking watching outside. He's like, this is for my research. Just watching the entire time outside the fucking window, Chad. And Dan, Chad, he's just cocking it. He's just swinging the breeze. He goes, oh shit! And he's holding his balls and dick. And Herbert West is like, oh, don't worry, I don't mind the engorged peen. May I come in? And he's like, why you want to come in? I saw your advertisement. What is advertisement? He says advertisement weird. He says advertisement. Your advertisement on the school board. And it's like, I would like to look at your room. I need someplace to practice my experiments. And he goes, sure, okay. And he's like, excellent, I brought my things. So he's already ready to move in. So he's coming in there. They show him the room. He's like, this is adequate. Do you have a basement? He goes, yeah. And they take him down to the basement. He's like, oh, yes. Yes, this is perfect. Oh, yes. He's like, this will do quite nicely. Well, I have my things outside. I'll just mosey on in, as you regular humans say. And, fucking Megan's just like, maybe we should think about this. Because she looks at Dan, like she's not facing Herbert, and she looks at Dan, she says, I don't know, we should probably think about this. Basically tell him, like, you don't let this crazy weird fuck move in here, okay? This is where we have hot, sweaty sex. And clearly he was listening and watching us, and I don't want that. And Dan's just so fucking stupid, chap, because he's exhausted. He's drained all of his fluids. And so he's not thinking right. He's just like, money. And Herbert, he's like, I have your money right here 3 months in advance. And he goes, oh, 3 months in advance. That's nice. And it's like, you'll never see me. You'll barely see me. Only on the first of the month. Well, I'll pay you even more. 3 months in advance. He goes, wow, it's like 6 fucking months. Hell yeah. And Megan's just like, oh, Jesus Christ. And so she eventually goes off. She leaves. And Herbert, he sets up shop, Chad. That's what he's about to goddamn do. Later on, we cut to the next day, and they're in class with Mr. Carl Hill, is doing this dissection of a body check, going over the brain and things. You got Dan in there. You got good old crazy Herbert West. They're watching him chat. And Carl, he's explaining the process of, taking brains out and shit. And every time he's making like a major point based on his research, which actually wasn't Jack, he's a plagiarizing son of a bitch. He's mentioning Hans Gruber's research. Herbert West is just breaking pencils. Every time he goes, boom, he just breaks a pencil and it throws Carl off. He's just like, yeah, anyway, so you see in the frontal lobe, and then Herbert West just breaks another pencil and goes, with that fucking face. And he's like, you know what, chat, you know what? Class dismissed. We'll cover this again. And he just goes up to Herbert West. He's like, and maybe next time, Mr. West. Doesn't even call him Dr. Chet. He just calls him Mr. That's a very big sign of disrespect among doctors. I suggest that you grab a pen instead of a pencil. Yours seem to keep breaking. And Herbert West just was, you don't tell me what I can and cannot break. You do not tell me what is not possible. He goes on about, like, Carl's like, once the brain is dead for 6 to 12 minutes and it's fucking over, you can't resuscitate him. But Herbert West, he's like, no, I disagree. According to my research and the research of Hans Gruber, which you so erroneously copied and plagiarized in your time in West Germany, I know that is not true. and I can prove it. And he's like, get the fuck out of my goddamn classroom. And he's like, and he just leaves. It's like, all right, nothing unusual about that. Salty doctors are salty, especially when you don't call them doctors. And so they eventually leave. Captain, greetings, fellow human. Do you perchance have a domicile which I can masticate and engage in rapid eye movement restoration? Yes, it pretty much says that, Captain. You fucking nailed it. And so he leaves, chat, and, you know, Dan, he's just like, that was fucking weird, but he goes back to his own house, chat, with Herbert, and he turns in for the night. He's tired. It's been a long goddamn day. Well, goddamn day. But then, fucking Megan comes over, good old Megan. She's like, I want to have hot, sweaty sex. She goes, all right. And so they're studying a little bit, but then she's getting creeped out. She's getting a little creeped out because she hears Herbert West doing weird shit. She's like, And then Herbert West, he suddenly leaves the fucking building. And she goes, you know, he's just acting really weird. And he goes, you know, it's Herbert. You know, he does his thing. I'm not going to, he's paying me, you know, 3 months ahead of time rent. She goes, yeah. Hey, by the way, have you seen the cat around? They have like a cat. They have like a little black cat. And he's always messing with Megan and Dan, but in a good way. He's precocious. He's a precocious kitty cat. Yeah, he's adorable. He's adorable. And he goes, no, I haven't seen him. And she goes, like, I haven't seen him since, like, Herbert moved in. And he's like, I wouldn't worry about it. Cats are getting out. He comes back. He's left for a couple days. He always comes back. She goes, I don't know. I just have a really weird feeling. She goes, she's calling out for him, chat. We're gonna call him Boop. We're gonna call him Boop. Boop the cat, chat. And she's like, Boop. Boop, and he's like, Boop's fine, don't worry about it. She's like, I just feel concerned. Can we just look for him? He's like, all right, shit. And they're looking around for him, chat, but Boop, he's not anywhere close by. And she's like, the one place we haven't checked is his fucking room. He goes, let's not go in his room, okay? That's his privacy thing. And she's like, I'm gonna go in. And he's like, oh shit, fine. And she goes in there, chat. She's looking around, and she notices the fridge. She's looking for Boop. Boop, and then she sees it is slightly ajar, and she opens the goddamn fridge, and what's inside? The dead body of Boop the cat, chat. It's like, oh my god, and she's like, oh god, Boop, and then who's behind her, chat? Just looking, Herbert goddamn, which is like, what are you doing in my room? I do not like when humans are in my room. And she goes, and fucking Dan comes on over. And he's like, what the hell is going on here? She said, look what he did to Boop the cat. He's like, I was going to tell you about Boop the cat. He's like, what did you do? He's like, I did nothing. I came home and I noticed that it probably got into the trash or something, had a jaw around its head. And I put it in the fridge for safekeeping. As humans do. He's like, why would you do that? Why didn't you tell me? You weren't home. I had to go and do my research. And what was I going to tell you? Leave a note, you know, about found dead cat, more than 11? It's like very funny. He's like, he's kind of making sense though. I was like, how do I tell you this? I found your dead cat. And it's like, I wanted to leave it in the fridge because I didn't want it to stink up the place. He's like, he's making enough sense, but it's still fucking weird. But Megan, she's had enough. She's like, I'm done with this. This guy's a fucking psychopath. You want your fucking money to have it, but I'm leaving. She's like, but he's like, wait. And, you know, Herbert West is like, I'm sorry about you and your girlfriend, is it? I'm sorry. And he's like, Herbert, I don't know what the hell you're doing, man, but you got to stop, okay? We'll talk about this more in the morning. And he's like, yes, the morning hours, very good. And so good old Dan, he goes to sleep. But then he wakes up, Jake, because he's hearing all these noises. He's hearing, like, sounds like a cat. All this, he's like, what the fuck? This unholy meowing and howling shit. It's like, what the hell is it? Boop's dead. He's dead, Purple Canary. And he's getting up. He's looking around. He keeps hearing, and things are getting knocked over. He's like, Herbert, is that you? Herbert? Goes to Herbert's room, chat, not there. Goes to the fridge, sees that Boop the cat isn't there anymore either. So it looks like Herbert did something. He's like, what the hell? And eventually he's checking in, and he goes to the fucking basement. He's like, Herbert! And he goes down there, chat, and he just sees fucking Herbert flailing around the goddamn basement. He's like, help me, Dad. He's like, what's wrong? He's like, it's on me. And we see, chat, the cat has dug its fucking claws into Herbert's neck and back and won't let go. He's like, it's on me. It's eating me. He's like, oh shit. He's like, what? And he's like, grab something, hit it. He's like, and it's just a puppet, chat. But Jeffrey Combs, he did all of his own stunts in this movie. They didn't have the budget for a lot of stunt people. He's just throwing himself into inanimate objects, chat, just bruising himself, probably injuring himself in the process. Just trying to get this fucking puppet off his back, just losing his goddamn mind. And Dan is trying to help him and trying to get this off. Eventually, I think he grabs like a shovel and they whack it off. And then it's just them trying to find this undead zombie cat in the basement. Eventually, Dan gets a hold of it, Chad. He goes, ah, and it's like digging his claws into him and biting the sheet. He's like, ah, and he just throws it against the concrete wall of the basement and just fucking explodes in the blood and viscera and guts. It's like almost like cut in half, Chad. And like he's like, what the fuck's going on, Herbert? And he goes, I'll explain everything. But you must promise to come down. Let's bring it down from 11 to like a 5. How about, I'm at a 5 right now. How about you? He's like, I'm at an 11, Herbert. He's like, all right, I'm sorry. And he brings the cat over. And he's like, what the hell's going on? And he's like, I'm going to reveal everything to you. I have created a concoction, a chemical that brings the dead back to life, reanimates them, if you will. I'm a reanimator. And he goes, holy shit, I don't believe you're full of shit. He goes, it's true. It's like it was alive. It was alive, then it was dead. And I brought it back, and now it's dead again, though. And he goes, you're full of shit. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to report you to all your weird fucking shit you're doing. You got to get out of here. And he's like, I'll show you. Please. And he goes to the fridge, and he takes out this green fluid, chat. This glowing green fluid. Gets a syringe, puts it in there. I'm only going to add a little bit. As you can see, I don't expect the cat to start with the tango. Okay? It clearly has a broken back. And he injects it with the fluid, chat. And they watch this thing for about a good couple seconds. And the cat comes back to life, just going, Aah! And it's like, oh my God. He says, you see, I've used this formula on small animals. Everything from rats, cats, dogs, raccoons, anything I can get my hands on. And it's like, and by the way, they never say if Herbert West actually killed the cat. But I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he's like, I'm going to kill that fucking cat and use it in my experiments. There's no doubt about it, Chad. Don't trust Herbert West. He's a lying son of a bitch. So I have no doubt. Like the whole story about it choked to death. It got its head caught in a fucking jar and it didn't suffocate. Bull fucking shit. He definitely killed that cat. There's no question about that. And, Dan's is like, I'm getting, no. And he's like, Dan, no, please. We could do this together. You could be famous. You could be rich with this invention. You could be my research assistant. Millions of dollars, all your debt erased, your name in every medical research book across the nation, across the world, featured in interviews, famous for all time. And you, if we can perfect this, you and I, we will live on for lifetimes. Like, that's what Herbert wants. He wants immortality. That's his big thing, Chad. He never really says it directly, but it's obvious that's what he wants. And Dan's just like, fuck you, you're nuts. And he goes the next day. He probably stays at the goddamn house still. But he goes the next day, talks to Dean Halsey, chat. And he's like, Dean Halsey, I got something to tell you. And Dean Halsey seems a little agitated to see Dan. He's like, what's up? And he tells him like, Herbert West, I don't know how he did it, but he used some kind of chemical, and he brought this cat back to life. And Dean Halsey's like, I want enough of you. Enough of this bullshit coming from you, okay? And he's like, sir, I'm telling you the truth. He's like, yeah, tell me the truth. Like you told me the truth about how you're screwing my daughter? And he's like, okay, listen, we weren't really honest with that. Oh, by the way, we're engaged. You're what? Engaged? And he's, I'm sorry, sir, but Herbert West, he's doing some crazy shit. Just come to my house. He goes, I'm going to deal with Mr. West, okay? He's no longer a student and Miskatonic University. And if you're not fucking careful, Dan, if you're not careful, we'll just take that loan from you that you so desperately need. He's like, but I need that loan. It's the only way I can get myself through medical school. He's just like, well, that's too goddamn bad. Maybe you shouldn't have lied to me about fucking my daughter. And he's like, get out of my sight. He goes, please, sir. He's like, get out of my sight. And he's like, all right. And he leaves. He goes on home, chat. But things are not going very well. They're not going very well for good old Dan or Herbert West. And, Dan goes to Herbert West, and he goes, okay, listen. We got to prove that this is going to be fucking real. Everyone's against us right now. I'll help you. I'll join. Herbert West is like, yes. Oh, it's so good. And he goes, what do you need to do, Herbert? He's like, well, I've used this on animals and such. Never used it on a human, though, which is a fucking lie. He lies right here, Chad. Says he never used it on Herman. He obviously used it on Hans Gruber. And he's like, I need human test subjects. The freshly dead would suffice. And he goes, well, I can get you in the morgue. We can test this out. He says, excellent. Let's go. And so he good old Dan Cheney infiltrates the hospital. He has Herbert West on a gurney, Chad, with a sheet covering him over. And he's going right past good old Barney, Chad, the useless Barney. He does absolutely nothing in this fucking movie. And Barney's like, I got to do my job and look at the victim here. He goes, oh, I wouldn't do that, Barney. Fucking street pizza got run over by his son. He goes, ooh, I'm going to go masturbate. And he goes, you do you, Barney. He goes masturbate. He has a hustler in hand. He does it. He squeezes the eel, Chad. And then he goes inside there. And he brings a good old Herbert. Herbert, he puts his fucking, he's like, I need to put my socks on. I'm cold. He puts his socks on and shit. He goes over to the morgue. Right over there. And they're going over all the dead bodies. Like Herbert's like, useless, dumb, was a waste of life while living. Don't need it. But he finds the victim he needs. Oh, yes, early 20s, just dropped down dead. Possible heart failure. This will work out great. And he gives a recorder to Dan, who's just having a panic attack. Like, I'm in my head. I shouldn't have agreed to this. And Herbert's like, you're too late. You're too late now, Dan. You've joined me. And he goes, okay. He starts talking to it. And Herbert gets the good old flu. He's like, yes, this should do 20 cc should do. And he fucking injects it in the guy's butt. But he takes it, and no reaction though. 50 seconds. He's like, we got to get going, man. We have to get going. And he goes, no, we're going to add more. We're going to add more of the fluid. And eventually, we cut to upstairs of the hospital where Dean Halsey's checking in because he heard that Dan was at his job, but he's been suspended from his job. He's very mad, Chad. And Megan's right there, and he's talking to the head doctor. He says, was fucking Dan here? She goes, yeah, he's down in the morgue. He's like, God damn it. And Megan's like, Daddy, don't yell at him. I love him. He's like, get away from me. I got to go talk to Dan. And he's going down in the morgue, chat. Meanwhile, Herbert's losing his fucking mind. He keeps injecting more green fluid in this one body. And Dan's like, we gotta fucking go, Herbert. He's like, just one more good old injection. He injects him, chat. And he's like, it's nothing. It's a fucking failure. Stupid dead body. And they're like, they approach the door. But they hear some talking outside, chat. They hear Dean Halsey, and he's trying to open the morgue door, but he can't. He's like, Bane Eyes, like, Herbert, Dan, get your asses out of here. Oh, you're in deep trouble, misters. And then, chat, behind fucking Herbert and Dan, the dead body goes, and it's up, chat. It just starts coming for both of them, just swing around. I mean, it's just trying to hit him, chat. Just choke him, throw him around the goddamn room. Herbert's he's besides himself. He says, it's alive! It's alive! Putting a fucking Victor Frankenstein in everybody. And Dan's like, could you stop being crazy for like one scene and help me? Because he's like choking him. And Herbert's just like, stop! And the thing responds, like, oh my God, he responded to me. Dan, this is a brilliant, this is a huge breakthrough. He's like, it's killing me, Herbert. Oh shit, yeah, I'll help you, sure. He's trying to go over there. But this dead guy, chat, this reanimated individual throws both Dan and Herbert off, and he just goes right towards the goddamn door, chat, like the fucking Incredible Hulk. Tom Cruise runs to the chat, and it just knocks that shit over, and it falls, this huge metallic, like 1-ton door, chat, just falls right on top of Dean Halsey. Boom! Smacks him in his face, chat. Nose just bludgeoned into his skull, just like a tomato, like an overripe tune, just all over the place. Loses his front teeth, chat, everything. And this thing just rips the door off him. You see that, like, Dean Halsey's intestines and bones are sticking out of his tummy. It's like, oh my God. And it just grabs him. And it just starts wailing his head against the wall, chat. He's like, ah! It's like the whole time. And, Dan and Herbert go out there trying to get the guy to stop killing Dean Halsey. Dean Halsey's already dead. But they're trying to get him off him, chat, but he can't. He's too thick and too strong. Herbert's like, stand back, because he grabs one of this electronic bone saw tool. And he just goes right at the body, chat, and he puts the saw right through. He's like, just digging right through him, chat. Just blood and viscera covering Herbert's face. He's, I love it. It's in his mouth and things. I love it. And he cuts right through his heart cheek. So he pulls his fucking heart out, and the thing drops down dead. And then Barney walks in and goes, what's going on? and Herbert's like, oh, Barney. Boy, by the way, my name is Herbert West. You won't believe it. It's crazy. It's absolutely, it's nuts, Dean Halsey came in and he accosted good old Dan over here. Dan here was showing me the bodies. I was naturally curious, And there was an episode, and sadly, this gentleman that you saw right here was attacking Dean Halsey was not dead. Matter of fact, he came back alive and he killed him. He sadly killed him. It was a horrible situation. And Barney's just like, I'm going to call the police. He's like, Herbert's like, that's what you should absolutely do, Barney. You're doing your job, man. Thank you for your service. And at this point, Dan is just on the ground in the fetal position, Chad, going into shock because his fiance's dad is dead and he's responsible for it. And Herbert, being a creepy fuck that he is, he somehow just has a blanket, Chad. He finds a blanket. He's like, it's all going to be all right, Dan. It's like stroking his hair. He's like, it's all going to be all right. This is the greatest thing that could ever happen to you. He's like, I fucking hate you, dude. He's like, I know. And then we cut. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Because Herbert he injects the fluid into Dean Halsey and he brings it back, and he's just a fucking psychopath, chat. He's just screaming and howling all that shit. Megan comes down, and she's a mess. She's trying to help her dead dad out, who's undead now, and he's just howling. It's horrible. It's horrible. Eventually, though, Chad, we cut to the office of Carl Hill. Carl Hill, he apparently in his office, chat, he has like a prison cell in his office, chat, where he can observe patients who are insane in straitjackets, and that's where Dean Halsey is right now. And Megan's there, and Carl Hill's being a fucking weird creep, where he's like, I'll do anything to help your father, Megan. As you all know, I'm here for you. He's like touching her, it's like, and touching her hair. He's like, nah, it's not appropriate. And he goes, I want to do exploratory surgery on your father to see what is it that is driving him to this insanity. She goes like, I just don't know. He's like, listen, I'm as we all know, we all here for you, and if you need any intimate company, he's like, I'm gonna go for it. He's like, if you need any intimate company, you can always come and see me anytime. She goes, I'm gonna leave now, creepy fuck, and she leaves. He's like, nailed it. He's like, yeah, nailed it. And he's just looking at Dean Halsey. He just fucks with him. He's like hitting the glass, like, ha, like there. He's like proving that Carl Hill doesn't give a shit about Dean Halsey, chat. He likes playing around with his food, his experiments. And eventually he gets some orderlies in there to wrangle up Dean Halsey to do that exploratory surgery or something to him. He wants to understand, like, what the hell's wrong with him. Eventually, Dan goes to Megan's house and tries to explain himself. Megan's like, what the fuck happened to my dad? And he's like, oh man, you remember the cat? And she goes, yes. And she tells her about, Boop the cat, chat, and how Herbert brought him back, and the dad, like, they did an experiment on the body in the morgue. And they brought back that dead guy, and then that dead guy killed her dad, and they brought back her dead dad. And she's like, there's a lot of dead people in this story. He's like, yeah, there is. It's gonna be a consistent thing throughout the entire series. But your dad's not alive. He's undead. And she slaps the shit out of him. Just forehand, backhand, chat. It's just like, I want you to get out of here. I hate you. And he fucking goes. Meanwhile, we cut to Herbert West, and he's just having the time of his fucking life, chat. He got away with fucking murder. He talked to police. He lied so goddamn well. They actually thanked him. They thanked him for his help with the case. He explained everything away. That's what you could tell. Like, he's been doing this for a long time, and he's killed a lot of people. There's no doubt about that. He probably killed Hans Gruber, chat. There's no doubt about that. I bet he didn't even die naturally. It's like, you're done. I'm done with you. You can't teach me anymore. Stab, stab, stab. Inject you. And that's what happened. But he's down in his basement, he's taking notes and things, very happy. And then who fucking walks up behind him, Chad? Carl Hill. He's like, Mr. West. And leaving out that doctor there. Oh, this must be your laboratory. Oh, I have some questions for you, Mr. West. Mr. West's like, get out of my goddamn laboratory, as you call it. He's like, no, I have some questions for you. And I did a little analyzation of our dear Dean. And I noticed something. His irregular pulse, his lack of pupil dilation, the fact that his blood is coagulated, Mr. West. It all leads to one thing. It's the one thing that we both know. Is how have you managed to resurrect a man who is obviously dead? And Herbert West is like, God fucking damn it. I thought you would be like a second-rate goddamn doctor. Didn't believe you would figure that by yourself. He's like, listen, I may plagiarize. He admits, like, I plagiarized like a son of a bitch. But I know some of them was something fucking weird up. And he goes, all right, shit. And he's like, listen. Herbert West is like, what do you want? What do you want? And he's like, I want only one thing. I want everything you have. I want your invention. I want the power. I want the money, baby. That's what I want. And everyone's like, I'm never going to give that to you. He's like, well, I'll just tell them everything you've done. I told him that I'll find out that you were the one who did this experiment on Dean Halsey, that you probably killed Hans Gruber. I'm sure that there is an entire case file somewhere filled with all the dead bodies that have stacked up over time with you. And he's like, shit, there's a lot of dead bodies I've stacked up. And he goes, okay, fine. And he's like, show me your research. He's like, here you go. And he shows him the chemical chat. And he's like, here's some dead cat tissue, right? He puts out a microscope. And he's like, oh, you've been using school equipment as well. That's illegal, Mr. West. And he's like dripping some of the chemical on the cat tissue and things. And Carl, he's just fucking obsessive. He's reading his notes. He's like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is incredible. My greatest discovery. You didn't discover shit, Carl. He's looking at all this. Meanwhile, Herbert West is just being a creep, watching him going, I'm going to kill this fuck. And he goes in the back of the basement, chat, and just gets a fucking shovel. And Carl, he's just so obsessed by this cat tissue scene. He's like, oh my God, the cells are repairing themselves. This is the greatest adventure of the world. I'll be famous. And he's like, Herbert, can you believe it? And then fucking Herbert just comes in with a fucking shovel, chat. Boom! Right in the goddamn head. Caves in his fucking skull. He falls down. Just going, he's got a little derpy now. A little derpy. And, ooh. Grisly scene, chat. Herbert West brings down the shovel on Carl Hill's neck like over and over and over again, and Carl's just blood and meat and tubes, like all the tubes, chat, her neck just coming out. He's like, and he's like, and he's basically just stomp on the shovel, chat, until he severs the head, until he completely severs the head of Carl Hill, chat. And you know, Herbert West he's just caked in blood and just going, whew, what a day. And he takes the fucking head, chat, puts it in the little pan of his, but it keeps falling over. So he's like, God damn it. And he has this note, this like little note stick, this little pointy note stick where he puts, like put notes on things when you're done with them. And he goes, he grabs that and just shoves the head right into there and just goes, there you go. Now you're going to stand upright. And he takes some of the fluid, injects it into Dr. Hill's cranium, and then goes over to his dead body and goes, why not? Let's see what happens. And he injects in the dead body. And he just look at the head, chat, just kind of bonking it with a pen. He's like, see, I got a pen. Ha, ha, ha. And eventually, chat, the head comes to. Dr. Carl Hill is reanimated. And, his eyes look open. He's just staring at Herbert, just wide-eyed going, he goes, yes, oh, yeah, yes, you're awake, Dr. Hill. I'm glad you can see me. What can you tell me? What are you feeling right now? He's like, you are a, he's like, R-A, okay, this is good, thank you, bastard. And he goes, that's mean. And behind him, chat, the reanimated dead body, the headless dead body of Carl Hill is coming up in this image right here, chat. Is the scene I'm talking about. It's one of the more famous scenes in the movie. By the way, the practical effects are amazing. Where the dead body is walking up to him, chat, and grabs Herbert West's head and just slams in the fucking table, chat. Slams in the table. And the body just grabs the head of he grabs his own head, chat, and he grabs all the equipment and walks out the front door. Just takes off, chat. It's fucking nuts. But it's the practical effects, chat. Hold it to this day. It's so goddamn fun and goofy and gory. It works. It's amazing. Movie's what 35 years old? At this point, nearly 40 years old, and still looks so goddamn good. Eventually, good old Carl Hill, he manages to somehow get back to the universe. This is where you have to, you got to go in with the disbelief, chat. The disbelief factor is pretty high here. He somehow managed to avoid all the crowds of students and teacher and staff and faculty, chat, and has ended up back at his office in the university. It's like, okay. And he takes his severed head out of the bag, puts a fucking pan down, and puts himself in there. And the head is directing his body around, but it's hard for him. And the body's just like hitting shit, knocking things over. He goes, oh, God. But eventually he goes to this little fridge, and where he opens it, he has all these blood packs, chat. And he's like, yes. And he comes over, he squeezes all the blood packs in there, because I guess the head needs blood. I don't know why. Needs like a shit ton of blood. And he goes, good. And he's like, we have work to do. And he tells the head, or the body, to inject more of the green fluid into him. And he does so. And that, increases his mental capacity, chat. Apparently, the more green fluid that Hill gets now, he's now able to control the reanimated dead with his mind. And he goes over to Dean Halsey, chat, who he's lobotomized. And he basically tells him, he's like, we have much work to do. And he's like, oh, shit, okay. And so now we cut, chat, and we're at the morgue again, where Barney is just fucking jerking it to more hustlers than Playboys, chat. That's all he does. And he does not notice the body of Dr. Carl Hill just mosey on over, chat. He has like one of those fake kind of like plastic heads on, like a dummy head. And it looks obviously fake. It looks fake. But Barney could give a shit less, Chad. He's like, I'm just here to serve my goddamn time. Then I'm out of here. And I'm going to go back to jerking off in 5 minutes. And, Carl Hill, he enters the morgue, Chad. Puts his head in the fucking bin again, more blood in there, and he just starts injecting all these people with more of that green fluid until he resurrects them, chat, and he has control over them with his mind. He is like, all right, boys and girls, here we go. Bring me the thing I desire most, and we all know what that thing is, chat. He's lost his goddamn mind. He wants Megan. Eventually, we do cut back to, Dan and Megan. Or no, we come back to Dan and Megan. And they at one point they went to go see her dad. That's why they discovered that Carl Hill lobotomized her father. And it's like, oh shit, no, and she's traumatized over it. And they go back home, and Dan and her kind of have like a reconciliation moment. They're like okay, we're good, but us together that's no longer a thing. She says, I think you should leave. I think you should go. This is just not gonna happen. He goes, please, no, please, I'm sorry. And then the fucking zombies attack. The reanimated dead chat come, and they're destroying the house and shit. And they're there for Megan. By the way, they're all fucking naked. Hey, man, did I miss something? Oh, you're just here for the part where all the dead naked people are trying to grab Megan so they can take her to the headless body and the severed head of Dr. Carl Hill. No, you're just in time, Thief Man. Don't worry. And so they're attacking. They beat the shit out of Dan shit. He's like, are those naked dead people? And they just beat the shit out of him. They grab Megan chat. Somehow they're very stealthy, and no one sees all these reanimated dead people walking around completely butt naked. And they take her back, and somehow Barney was off jerking in the bathroom somewhere, check, because he does not see Megan come in. And they put the unconscious body of Megan right next to the severed head of Dean Carl. He's like, yes, oh, I can't wait. And his body begins stripping Megan, chat, takes off all of her clothes, and then we get like another iconic scene. When Carl Hill's headless corpse picks up his own head and just starts smooching the naked body and sucking on the nipples, the bare nipples, chat, of Megan. And she wakes up and goes, what the fuck? He's like, yes. He's just going to town, chat. He's just fucking going to town. Meanwhile, we cut to Dan, who is back at the home and has found Herbert, chat, laying in his own shit and piss. He knocked himself out. He was knocked unconscious, as we know, chat, and shit and pissed himself everywhere. And he comes to, and he's like, if I pissed and shit myself, you have, Herbert, you have a problem. Fucking the reanimated corpses running around. He goes, no, my research. And he's like, oh, he took it. Like, who took it? Oh, Carl Hill, I reanimated him. He's like, why'd you do that? He's like, I thought it would be cool, Dan. Steve, the Summer of Bennies. Woo! What's good, Juicy Herman chat fam? Good to see you, Steve. Hope you're doing very well. Just at the point in the movie when Herbert West has discovered that he shit himself and notices all of his research is gone, but good to see you. Sometimes you gotta suck on some nips to get your head back on straight. I guess so, Night Brownie. Yeah, it seems like I came back when things are getting good. Oh, yeah, man, this is a good part. This is when all the body horror is on full display and the hot, sweaty zombie sex. It's gross. But, Herbert West is like, oh, he has my research. Like, who has you? Carl Hill. I reanimated. He's like, you reanimated him? He's like, I thought it'd be okay. How many people have you killed, Herbert? I'm not at liberty to disclose that information to you, Dan. I'm actually shocked you would ask me that. He's like, you kill a lot of people. He's like, I have killed a lot of people, yes. We got to go and save Megan. He's like, okay. Can we get my research back, though? He's like, yes, we get your research back. Great, bully. Let's go ahead and do it. And so, chat, we cut back to Carl Hill, and he's about to perform oral sex, chat, on Megan. He's about to go downtown. She's like, she's like, no. He's like, no. She does not want to chat. But thankfully, he stopped at the last minute because Herbert West comes in. He's like, I expected more of you, Mr. Hill. He goes, ooh, he'd used the Mr. that time. She hadn't even called him God by his doctor's name. And he goes, West. He goes, yeah, see, like you, so obsessed with power and stealing other people's great works, you would just lose your mind over some bubbly co-ed. Ha! I at you. And he goes, yes, West, I have a surprise for you, though. And he goes, what could you couldn't surprise me with anything. Meanwhile, Dan is untying Megan from the gurney, chat, getting her loose and things, getting her clothes on, everything. And now, Herbert West, he's just used as a distraction. And he wants to fuck with Carl. And he goes, I've modified your serum. He's like, how so? He's like, your serum combined with my lobotomies produces very susceptible soldiers. And now I have what I've always dreamed to have. And he's like, what's that? Power! Attack! And all the Reanimated dead come alive, chat. And they all fucking start going for Herbert. They all start going for Dan and Megan. They're all fighting them off and shit. They're punching the shit out of them and everything, just trying their best. Herbert, he's punching the shit out of the severed head of Dr. Hill. He's like, ah! They're all going at you. It's just fucking chaos. Just naked bodies in bosoms, in peens, in genital shit, all over the place. All hot and sweaty. It's like, this shoot must have been fucking nuts to do, chat. Like, I could not have imagined something like this. It's nuts. But all hell's breaking loose. Thank you, Dark Slayer. Unlimited power. He turns the Papa Palpatine. Thank you, Dark Slayer. Well, she's rather sexually scarred. She is. She's going to need intense therapy for the time that she has left. And so all hell's breaking loose at this point, chat. They're fighting off the Reanimated dead. They're chopping off limbs. Other than probably Dead Alive, it's one of the bloodiest scenes, I think, in any horror film. Just the copious amounts of gore. But there's one moment of saving grace, chat, where it's like these people might be reanimated dead, chat, but there's still a little humanity left in them because Megan, she speaks to her father, chat. She manages to get through to him. He's like, Daddy, please don't, because he's like killed. He's like choking the shit out of Dan, chat. He's just about to kill Dan. But he's like, Daddy, and he recognizes his daughter. For an instant, he sees her, and he sees her crying, and some of his humanity comes up in him. And he goes like, fucking Carl Hill. He was like doing weird sex stuff to my daughter. And he throws Dan out of the way, and he just goes right at Dr. Hill. He's like, no! And he punches the shit out of his body, and he grabs his head, and he just starts crushing Carl Hill. He's like, no! And he gouges his eyes. He's like, ah! He like rips his tongue out, chat, until it's just a bloody pulp of skull and meat and organs, chat, and eyeballs. And Barney, who's just got done jerking it, goes, how you kids doing? And the fucking severed head of Dr. Hill is just thrown out the doorway, chat, lands on the wall like a goddamn piece of rotten fruit, just falls to the ground. And he goes, I'm gonna leave. And he fucking goes off, chat, just jerking it the whole time. Meanwhile, Herbert West, who's just like, you know what, this is pretty good. I'm good, guys. I'm pretty good. And he just grabs some more of his syringes and goes, I'm gonna start injecting. And Megan and Dan are like, no, Herbert, no, don't inject things. And he starts sticking just more syringes in people, just injecting more of the fluid into them. It's like, I just want to see what happens. And he injects them all into Dr. West's body, who suddenly has been, I don't know, impregnated by hentai, chat. His intestines become reanimated themselves. It's kind of something from The Thing, where they all have a mind of their own. And one of the hentai intestines, chat, just wraps around Herbert and goes, rub his tuchus. He goes, no, my butt! And he's slowly being dragged toward the body. He can't escape. Dan and Megan try to get him out. And he's like, but they can't do anything for good old Herbert, chat. And eventually, they're like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. He managed to get one of the hentai tentacles off his mouth. He's like, wait, my nose! Because that's the one thing he cares more, chat, more than about himself, which he cares a lot about himself, quite a bit, is his research. He wants his research to be preserved and to be showcased across the world. And Danny's like, I'll take this shit, thank you. And him and Megan, they start running down the hallway, chat, cutting, just using everything at their disposal to just fight off the undead and shit. Eventually they get to an elevator. They hit it, it opens up, they close it. But oh no, a dead guy comes up and he just starts choking the shit out of Megan, chat. He's like really muscular and thick. And Dan can't get him out of the grip. He's got a fucking vice grip on Megan. He's like, oh, and she's just like, oh. He's like, I'll be right back. And he goes over to the fire axe, chat. He busts it open, he grabs it, and he runs over, he chops the reanimated dead's arm off, chat. And he throws it off, and Megan, she's dead, chat. Her trachea has been crushed. She's like, oh, it's looking like a fucking frog. Like her entire neck is just like, oh. She's got one of those George Lucas necks now. You remember that George Lucas neck, chat? It just looks bloated, and he's like, that's not good. And he's like, and they get to the floor. Meanwhile, the whole hospital's just going crazy because everything's on fire because the basement's on fire at this point. He's like, I need the shocky things. And like, oh shit. And he puts it on her bed. She starts doing the shocking things, nothing. Shocking things, nothing. Starts doing the chest compressions and everything. And the doctor's like, her trachea, man, she's gone. He's like, she's not gone. Going back to the movie, chat, he's obsessed. He's obsessed about, much like Herbert. of sustaining life, reanimating life. And they're like, we're calling it, Dan, we're calling it. And they apologize and we're sorry, Dan, we're sorry. And they go to the basement, see what the hell's going on. But chat, he realizes, he opens the bag and he sees the chemical. He sees the Re-Animator chemical that Herbert had. And he gets the syringe out, chat. He gets a big old whopping glop of it, goes over Melanie and sticks that shit in her neck. And we fade to black and we just hear the the high-pitched scream of the reanimated Megan zombie. And defibrillator, that's it, baby GT. I know I called the shocky things. I never remember defibrillator, but that, my friends, is Re-Animator. The 1985 classic, chat. Highly recommend checking out. Checking out. It is on Amazon Prime for 99 cents, chat. I think a total is like $1.07. So if you want to see a good fucking horror film, I highly recommend checking that one out, chat. It's goddamn good. That's how it ends, Glee, is of him resurrecting her again, and it cuts. It fades to black. Now, the sequel, it takes place like 5 years later, where Herbert's alive, by the way. He still lives, and Dan is also alive. Megan's dead, and they're like in some South American war, experimenting on war dead, and eventually they just go back to the university like nothing happened and they start doing their experiments again. And it's very much more of like a Frankenstein situation where they just start combining body parts and literally creating monsters out of the reanimated dead. Just like, let's do a combination. We added bat wings to this one. It's really goofy. And then the third one, Dan's not in it. I don't know if he died or something. He may have died. I'm not sure. He gets arrested. But Herbert he's in prison, but the prison warden's allowing him to do these experiments in prison on inmates and things. And like that's how that happens. So he's been trying to do this for quite a while. Whoo, batches. Besides comedy, horror is one of my weak points in writing. How do people come up with this stuff? It's crazy, man. You gotta be depraved. You gotta be a little fucked up to come up with some of this stuff. Oh, I love the opening. Oh, me too. The opening credits, I mentioned them before, are so good. The music and everything, the imagery that they use, it's great. Even if the theme is a blatant ripoff, it's like, oh, it is, but it's fun. But I hope you enjoyed the review, guys. It was a good time. Highly recommend checking out on the DT scale. It's a full price movie, chat. It holds up. It knows exactly what it is. It's over-exaggerated, but embraces those campy, schlocky elements to a goddamn T. Check it out. 4 out of 5, Zombie Nip Sucks from Nia Brownie. Show, thank you for the 10 middies. Appreciate that. I'm just ill. This movie will leave you feeling queasy, Chad. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But chat, I'm going to take a brief break. In the meantime, please entertain yourselves amongst yourselves. I'm going to go ahead and refill my beverage. In the meantime, please do stick around. Be right back.